Alright, so welcome back. We are jumping into video number 7, and this is about the offer. And in this video, we are going to be focusing on the smaller aspects of the offer being vehicle and also mechanism, because in the last video we realized that either the vehicle or the mechanism can be of increased importance depending on the level of market sophistication that we're in. And again, obviously if we're in stage 5 level of market sophistication, then we're focused more on specific identities of the ICP rather than vehicle and mechanism, but these things are still important. So I want to go into detail with them. What we're going to do in this video here is we are going to clarify on what the vehicle and the mechanism is, clarify on the importance of the vehicle in the specific example that we've been using in this framework series, and also just touching on the fact that in the coaching industry, we oftentimes have the ability, because it's an info product, to adjust exactly how the offer is going to look. And so we can make some small strategic adjustments to improve our vehicle very quickly so that our ads land better. Or same thing for the mechanism as well. So getting into more details with the vehicle and the mechanism is going to allow us to strengthen either of these components, which is going to help us with the ads. So what we're going to do is we are going to jump into the offer statement V1, which we've already covered. I'm just basically restating this and bringing us back to an understanding of the original offer statement that we had. And so this one was all right. I mean, if I take another look at it, I'm seeing that I did put in a mechanism here, and I don't care as much for this mechanism right now. I care more about the vehicle, just based on the fact that we're at stage 2 level of market sophistication. And so we can probably see that end up changing, but everything else in the original offer is looking kind of like what I would expect. But at the end of this video, we are going to get back into the offer statement and do a V2. So where are we right now? I always like to get into detail with this. So we are targeting individuals that are 9-to-5ers looking to escape, solution aware, and they are at stage 2 level of market sophistication. What exactly does this mean? It means I need to speak to people actively looking for solutions, and my vehicle must be clear and stand out. It must be a believable path to achieve the outcome. I must also exaggerate the claim of my vehicle, as we talked about in the last video. So with this information here, obviously, we are noticing the importance of the vehicle. And so I'm going to get into more detail of exactly what the vehicle is and why it's important, and how to manipulate the vehicle to be able to improve our ads. So the vehicle. The vehicle is the type of path or category of solution that gets someone from their current state to their desired state. It is not how it works, that's the mechanism, it's what kind of thing it is. And when we come into understanding the vehicle, there are several small important factors that come into this. Category of solution is one, so the broad type of solution that you're offering, whether it be coaching, SaaS, service, AI tools, ad agency, etc. Identity relevance, so do people see this as something that they would align with your vehicle? Effort required, does it seem like it takes a lot of effort to be able to go ahead with the vehicle that you are presenting? Maturity of the vehicle, if we compare to something like drop shipping or SMMA, these have very high maturity, and we don't want to have very high maturity because that means it's going to be saturated. That's going to affect the skepticism and believability of that vehicle. Default associations is next, and typically what I do when I go through this is I just pick off anything that sticks out to me that I think could be a problem. For the offer that we've been talking about here as an example throughout this framework, category of solution, I'm not too concerned about that. Identity relevance, I don't have concerns about that. Effort required, I think a remote cleaning business seems pretty easy in comparison to a lot of the other opportunities. Maturity of vehicle, very low maturity for this opportunity, but with default associations, what does a remote cleaning business trigger in a prospect's mind? I do believe that people might not think too fondly of remote cleaning business because it seems kind of icky, just not that interesting. I think if I tried to catch people's attention with the vehicle and saying that it is a cleaning business, I don't think that would be very good. So I'm concerned about the default association of that. But if I continue on here and get into category of competition, what other vehicles are they comparing it to? Dropshipping, SMMA, there is clear differentiation, and so I don't really have any issues with category competition as well. So default associations is my only concern with the vehicle, which is good. If I had other concerns with the vehicle, then I would have to make other adjustments to my vehicle. I don't necessarily have to, but if I want my ads to stand out, then I would go ahead and try to make maybe some adjustments to the vehicle, depending on what stands out as probably as a bit of a problem. Again, I like my vehicle. And default associations, I will get into this in the next video on maybe some adjustments that I'm going to make based on that. Why does this matter? The vehicle is the belief barrier. So people don't even assess your mechanism or proof if they reject the vehicle itself. If they don't believe in coaching, they won't buy your coaching. If they think AI is scammy, they won't consider your AI tool. So the vehicle must feel aligned with their identity, capable of fulfilling the promise, and questions to clarify the vehicle, basically covering this information that we just went through, would be, what kind of thing is this? Is this vehicle something that the market already believes in, or do I need to build trust with it? Does it sound like too much work or too good to be true? And what other vehicles are we going to be competing with, and how is this vehicle better? So as we know, we've covered this before, the vehicle here is an automated remote cleaning business. I'm not going to make changes to that because I like everything that we went through here. And depending on your offers for your coaching business, you might want to go ahead and make some adjustments here. But again, this is where we are at so far. Next thing I'm going to get into is the mechanism. And again, as we know, for the example offer that I'm talking about, the mechanism is not as important, but the mechanism here is the unique internal method or process that makes the vehicle work. It is the how inside of the what. Understanding the mechanism comes down to internal logic, believability, differentiation layer, how it stands out, simplicity versus complexity, basically how simple does this mechanism feel or seem, name and label, so how does it sound when you first hear of the mechanism, proof anchor. And again, it's kind of similar to the vehicle there that we just went through, but I would take a look at these if the mechanism is important. We're sitting at maybe a stage 3, stage 4 level of market sophistication. Then we'll deep dive into these options here and see if we should modify our mechanism to any extent. Why this matters? Well, if the prospect believes in the vehicle, they still will ask, why would your version of this work better? That's where the mechanism lives. The mechanism is what makes your coaching product system uniquely effective. And questions to clarify on your mechanism is, what specifically inside the offer creates the results? What is the logic or shift you're using? What makes your method different from other versions of this vehicle? And can it be named, shown, explained simply? In this situation, the mechanism that we have here, which again is not very important, cleaning, launchpad system, I'm not going to use this, but that's what I would go ahead and do, is I would break down my mechanism and put it on this sheet here so that I have it. Lastly, we're getting into the offer statement V2. So we're following the same framework as before, and this is what we have at this point. So as you can see, we have gotten rid of the mechanism at the end here, and we do have the remote cleaning business in here as the vehicle, and we build it for you in 7 days. This is exaggerating on the claim, and everything is looking better here for offer statement V2. This is basically just giving us an overview of where we are right now with our offer, and I feel good about my vehicle. I believe that that's going to stand out. Again, I am going to be concerned about default associations. That might adjust the way that I go ahead with the ads in the next video. So the next video, I'm going to be covering hooks. And this is a really important part of the framework because this is what you've been waiting for, putting the pieces together and understanding how exactly we're going to create winning ads. So I will see you in the next video.